Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. There's a name swirling quietly in football circles, a name that once rang loud on draft night back in 2020, Damon Arnette. Yes, that Damon Arnette, the same former first-round pick of the Las Vegas Raiders whose NFL career went off the rails before it really got started. Fast forward to 2025, and Arnette, now 28 and playing for the Houston Roughnecks in the UFL, is showing signs of life again on the field, in his personal life, and maybe, just maybe, in NFL front offices. And the Miami Dolphins, a team that's dangerously thin at cornerback and deep in uncertainty, might want to listen closely. This isn't your typical reclamation project. This is a redemption story that could intersect with a desperate need in Miami's secondary. And with the Dolphins inching through phase 2 of their offseason, the timing might be just right to take a closer look. Let's not sugarcoat it. The Dolphins' cornerback room is a mess behind Jalen Ramsey and Kader Kohou. There's talent, sure, but it's raw, it's untested, and it's unreliable. And Ramsey, well, the buzz around the league suggests a trade could be coming before training camp even opens. So now what? Wait for another late-round gem to suddenly bloom? Roll the dice on developmental guys when your playoff window is now? Or maybe, and hear me out, just maybe bring in a hungry, battle-tested vet who's clawing his way back from rock bottom and is putting together impressive tape in the UFL. Damon Arnette might not be a sure bet, but he's far from washed. In fact, the fire burning in him now might be hotter than it ever was during his days in silver and black. Let's rewind the tape. Arnette's NFL journey began with promise. Picked 19th overall out of Ohio State, scouts were high on his physicality, tight coverage skills, and swagger. But personal decisions, fueled by immaturity and legal trouble, derailed his career almost instantly. Released by the Raiders after a disturbing social media video surfaced, Arnette became the face of wasted talent. Yet despite the chaos, Miami offered a soft landing. The Dolphins added him to their practice squad at the end of the 2021 season. The move that flew under the radar. Nothing major came from it. No future contract, no big splash. But they gave him a look. That matters because if the building was truly burning, they wouldn't have let him anywhere near the roster. So what changed in 2025? Everything. Arnette's not just playing again, he's balling. In the UFL, where competition is fierce and second chances are rare, he's showing out. In just a handful of games, he's already logged 17 tackles, a sack, and a pick six. But it's not just the stat line that jumps off the page. It's the energy, the commitment, the growth. At 28, this isn't the same Arnette who strutted into the NFL thinking talent was enough. This is a father of three, a humbled man who's found stability and drive. At a community event in Houston, he told KPRC2 that he's become the professional he never was. And it wasn't just talk. Coaches around him are backing up the claim. They say he's locked in, mature, and finally understands what it takes to succeed. And look, NFL teams are taking notice. According to Aaron Wilson of KPRC, several franchises have reached out to the Houston Roughnecks to ask about Arnette. You think that happens if he's just another washed-up name chasing glory? No. That happens when teams see value, when they see a guy who's finally maximizing his potential, when they see someone who can bring depth, aggression, and maybe even leadership to a needy locker room. The Dolphins wouldn't have to make a huge commitment here. This isn't about throwing money or guarantees at Arnette. This is about competition, about camp battles, about proving you still want it more than the next guy. And Arnette, he's dying to prove just that. Let's also talk fit. Arnette's physical style matches up well with what Vic Fangio's defense was supposed to be, and what Anthony Weaver may now be asked to recreate. Press coverage? Check. Willing tackler? Check. High motor? Double check. Add in the Florida connection. The guy's from Fort Lauderdale, and you've got a storyline that practically writes itself. Imagine the comeback arc. From viral disgrace to homegrown redemption, from NFL exile to a shot at helping the Dolphins lock down. The AFC East, we're not saying he's your CB2 tomorrow, but if he comes in and competes, pushes the younger guys, maybe even makes the 53-man roster, that's a win, plain and simple. The Dolphins don't have the luxury to play it safe. Injuries, inconsistency, and contract questions make this one. of the more volatile secondary rooms in the league. And as good as Ramsey is, even he can't cover the whole field. Miami's defense thrived when the corners were deep and dangerous. Think Xavier Howard in his prime. Think Byron Jones before the injuries. Right now, it's Ramsey, Kohu, and a group of maybes. So why not add one more, especially one who's playing like every snap could be his last? That desperation, that hunger, that's what coaches live for. And if Arnett shows even half of what he's flashing in the UFL, the upside's worth the risk. Critics will point to the past. They'll say trouble follows certain players. But let's be honest, the league is full of redemption stories. From Alden Smith to Josh Gordon, teams have always made space for talent that can help them win. The key is growth, accountability, maturity. If the Dolphins bring Arnett in and he doesn't measure up, you cut him. Simple. But what if he does? What if the off-field noise stays quiet and the on-field noise starts to rise? Then you've just found a low-cost, high-reward addition at one of your thinnest spots. In a league where corners are more valuable than ever, you don't leave stones unturned. What matters now is the film. And the film on Arnett says he's moving well, tackling hard, and staying disciplined. He's not the same twitchy rookie who got beat on double moves. He's patient, smarter. And if the Dolphins coaching staff, especially defensive backs coach Sam Madison, believes there's something there, then who are we to second guess? After all, this is a team that succeeded by thinking outside the box, finding talent where others see baggage. That's how rosters evolve. That's how contenders stay contenders. And if Arnett can even scratch the surface of what made him a first rounder, you've just added a wild card no one saw coming. So should the Dolphins consider Damon Arnett? Honestly, yes, if they believe the man in front of them today is not the same one who made headlines for all the wrong reasons in 2021. This isn't a plea for charity or a blind leap of faith. It's a calculated bet on a player who's already betting on himself. If Miami's serious about building a deep, flexible, and battle-ready defense, they should at least give him a shot. And who knows? In a league where stories are written every Sunday, maybe Arnett's next chapter begins right where it quietly paused. In Miami. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some huge news shaking up the NFL world. Rumors are swirling that Dak Prescott, yes, that Dak Prescott, might be heading to the Miami Dolphins as their new quarterback. This is not just some random speculation. It's coming from multiple insider sources, and the ripple effects could change the landscape of the AFC entirely. Imagine Dak leaving the Dallas Cowboys, a franchise where he's been the face of the team for years, and suddenly suiting up in that teal and orange Dolphins uniform. The internet is absolutely on fire with this possibility, and honestly, so am I. Let's break it all down, what this means for Dak, the Dolphins, and the Cowboys, and whether this rumor could become a reality in the near future. First off, let's talk about Dak Prescott's current situation with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak has been the leader of America's team since he stepped in as a rookie in 2016, turning what could have been a rebuilding era into a competitive team year after year. But despite his individual success, Pro Bowls, record-breaking stats, and undeniable leadership, the Cowboys haven't quite been able to get over the hump in the playoffs. The recent seasons have been filled with disappointment for Dallas fans, and it's led to constant speculation about Dak's long-term future with the team. Contract negotiations have been rocky in the past, and with only a year left on his current deal, there's a real sense that the Cowboys might be considering their options. Now shifting focus to the Miami Dolphins, this team is already stacked with talent. They've got one of the most dynamic wide receiver duos in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and the defense has been a force to be reckoned with. But here's the issue. Tua Tagovailoa's health and consistency have been major question marks. While Tua showed flashes of brilliance last season, concussions and other injuries raised serious concerns about his ability to be the franchise quarterback long term. That's where the rumor about Dak Prescott makes so much sense. The Dolphins are in win-now mode, and adding a durable, proven quarterback like Dak could be exactly what they need to take that next step toward a Super Bowl. From a football perspective, Dak Prescott's playing style would mesh incredibly well. with the Dolphins' offensive scheme. Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins head coach, is known for his innovative play calling and his ability to maximize the strengths of his players. Dak's mobility, arm strength, and quick decision-making could make Miami's offense nearly unstoppable, especially with weapons like Hill and Waddle stretching the field. Plus, let's not forget about Miami's improving offensive line and running game. It's a situation tailor-made for a quarterback who thrives on balance and rhythm. If this rumor turns out to be true, we could be looking at one of the most exciting offenses in the NFL next season. Of course, whenever we talk about a blockbuster move like this, we have to consider the salary cap implications. Dak Prescott is not cheap. He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and rightfully so. The Dolphins would have to make some significant financial maneuvers to fit Dak under their cap, possibly restructuring existing contracts, or even moving some players. But with the NFL's ever-increasing salary cap and the creative accounting that teams employ, it's not out of the question. In fact, Miami's front office has shown in the past that they're willing to be aggressive when it comes to acquiring top talent, as we saw with the Tyreek Hill trade. So from a financial and strategic standpoint, this deal is complicated, but not impossible. Another angle to consider is the Cowboys side of things. If Dallas is seriously entertaining the idea of moving on from Dak Prescott, what's their plan at quarterback? Do they trust backup Cooper Rush to take over? Will they target a veteran in free agency, or maybe look to the draft for their next franchise QB? This is where things get even more interesting, because moving Dak would be a seismic shift for the Cowboys organization, signaling a potential rebuild or at least a major retooling of the roster. Jerry Jones, the ever-ambitious owner of the Cowboys, has always maintained that he wants to win now. But would he be willing to let go of his franchise quarterback to reset the team's direction? Then there's Dak Prescott himself. How would he feel about leaving the Cowboys, the only NFL team he's ever known, and starting fresh in Miami? On one hand, it's an opportunity to join a talented roster with Super Bowl aspirations in a beautiful city with a passionate fan base. On the other hand, Dak has deep ties to Dallas, the community, the fans, the organization. He's always carried himself with class and loyalty, so making such a monumental move wouldn't be something he'd take lightly. But as we've seen in recent years with other quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford, sometimes a change of scenery is exactly what's needed to elevate a career and chase that elusive championship. The reaction from Dolphins fans has been overwhelmingly positive, at least from what I've seen online. Social media is buzzing with excitement at the thought of Dak Prescott leading this team. For a franchise that hasn't consistently been among the league's elite in decades, adding a quarterback of Dak's caliber could finally make Miami a perennial contender. It also shows that the Dolphins are serious about competing in the ultra-competitive AFC, where teams like the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, and Ravens are all stacked with talent. Bringing in Dak would send a clear message to the rest of the league. The Dolphins are all in. But of course, we have to remember, this is still just a rumor at this point. No official statements have been made by Dak Prescott, the Cowboys, or the Dolphins. These kinds of rumors can sometimes be smoke without fire, or they can be the first whisper of a deal that's already in motion behind the scenes. NFL insiders have a mixed track record when it comes to predicting big trades, but when multiple sources are reporting the same thing, it definitely gets your attention. It's also worth noting that the NFL offseason is notorious for surprise moves, so it wouldn't be shocking if this rumor picks up even more steam in the coming weeks. So, what happens next? Well, for now, all eyes are on Dallas and Miami's front offices to see if any moves are made. Training camp is just around the corner, and if Dak Prescott really is on the move, we'll probably hear something soon. Until then, the speculation will continue to build, and fans of both teams will be holding their breath. Whether this ends up being one of the biggest trades in recent NFL history or just another offseason rumor that fizzles out is definitely one of the most intriguing storylines out there right now. As always, we'll be here to keep you updated on every twist and turn, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Alright folks, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this potential blockbuster move. Should the Dolphins go all in for Dak Prescott, or should they stick with Tua and keep building around him? And for Cowboys fans out there, how would you feel if Dak left Dallas? Would it be the right move for the franchise, or a huge mistake? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for all the latest NFL news and rumors. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace! That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.